Hollywood Reporter had an interview with Bob Weinstein. This is the brother of Harvey Weinstein. And of course, the interview had everything to do with the sexual assault allegations toward Harvey Weinstein. And Harvey has since been fired from the company that he and his brother Bob founded together. And Bob claims up and down that he knew nothing about Harvey's predatory ways. He had no idea that he was coercing or forcing women into sexual situations that they did not want to be involved in. And so I wanted to share some of his perspective and then we'll discuss. He told the Hollywood Reporter that members of the board, meaning the board behind the company that they founded, including myself, did not know the extent of my brother's actions. I know him on a personal level better than anyone. It's hard to describe how I feel that he took out the emptiness inside of him in so many sick and depraved ways. It's a sickness, but not a sickness that is excusable. It's a sickness that's inexcusable. And I, as a brother, understood and was aware as a family member that my brother needed help and that something was wrong. But he said, I didn't know that he was doing this to women. I thought he was cheating on his wife. I thought that he was needlessly cruel and mean to some of the people that were around him. But never did I think he would be a sexual predator.
So TMZ reports that Harvey Weinstein believes that it was his brother Bob Weinstein that actually leaked the damaging info to the New York Times. If that's the case, that's high stakes poker. That's some drama. And Bob Weinstein claims that he's only talked to Harvey 10 times about personal matters in the last 5 years. I find all of that a little bit hard to believe. I think that they obviously are at war, right? They're not getting along. I can't count now the number of times that Bob Weinstein has called Harvey Weinstein sick and depraved after this scandal broke. And of course kicked him off the board, which is convenient for Bob, who's still on the board. But I think he might have overplayed his hand. And so here he is now trying to do damage control, going, well, college, I never knew about this stuff. But one of the things that they asked about and that he refused to answer in this interview is, well, you guys just did contract negotiations and renewed Harvey Weinstein's contract. And there's good evidence that at that point, you had all these allegations that you knew about. So how could you say you don't know? And he's like, I'm not talking about that because that's in litigation and yada, yada.
He wouldn't get into those specifics.
And you just heard the quote where he said he knows his brother best. You know your brother best and you had no idea for decades and decades that it wasn't just cheating, but that there was the whole system set up with the executives and assistants bringing the women in to a place where they would be alone with Harvey and Harvey would do this and he did it all those times and you're at the same company and never heard about any of that.
I mean, what we hear over and over again was that Harvey's behavior was an open secret, that everyone knew about it, but no one was willing to do anything about it. And now you kind of go back in time and you see interviews that women had done and some of the accusations that they had very publicly made. And it's interesting to see that nothing really caught on. Courtney Love had an interview back in the early 2000s where she was asked, what kind of advice would you give to young women in the entertainment industry who want to break into the entertainment industry? And she, I'm paraphrasing, essentially said, if Harvey Weinstein invites you to a party, don't go. And it seemed as though something like that didn't even raise red flags in the media or among people in the entertainment industry, and it didn't convince them to do something about it. And again, I think it goes back to the fact that he was a man in a position of power who would push for these projects and push for these movies and help people make that money. And at the end of the day, that was more important than the lives of all these women who were being abused. Now, whether or not Bob Weinstein knew about it or not, I mean, you can only speculate, and I hate speculating, but it seems weird to me. Now, let me give you some more of his quotes. When Harvey Weinstein released his initial statement in regard to these allegations, he took ownership of some of those allegations, but he also did this weird thing where in the end of his statement, he said that he was gonna focus his energy on fighting the NRA. Everyone thought that was weird, including Bob Weinstein. He said, when I heard his written lame excuse, not an excuse. When I heard his admission of feeling remorse for the victims and then him cavalierly, almost crazily saying he was going to go out and take on the NRA, it was so disturbing to me. It was utter insanity. My daughters all felt sick hearing this because we understood he felt nothing. He also said, for me, I thought he was just going out there cheating in a pervasive way. It wasn't like he even had a mistress. It was one after another, and that I was aware of. But as far as being in a room and hearing the description in the New York Times, no way, no effing way. Was I aware that this was the type of predator that he was and the way he convinced people to do things? I thought they were all consensual situations.
So let's break that down. I don't think Bob's doing himself any good by doing this interview. So first of all, if you didn't know that he masturbated into a potted plant while he had this one woman cornered in a restaurant somewhere, okay. I understand that. It was a particularly bizarre thing, and they were the only two people in the room, and that story had not gotten out, okay? If you didn't turn him into his wife because of the cheating, you don't want to be overly judgmental. That's not your business. I understand that. But decades and decades of these accusations and rumors, etc., and you're not someone else in the industry. You run the Weinstein Company with Harvey Weinstein.
Who's your brother?
Who's your brother, and you thought they were all consensual situations. So you thought, oh my God, there are dozens of women in Hollywood, year after year, who come in and will sleep with my brother to get roles. And you thought that was awesome. Like you never questioned, hey, maybe we shouldn't hire those people. Maybe we should find the most talented actress instead of the one willing to sleep with Harvey Weinstein, even in your scenario. I'm not speculating, I'm just saying based on what you said, that's not that great, big guy.
Yeah, that's actually a really great point, and I didn't think of it from your perspective. But I think the thought process of people in these types of positions of power is that, yeah, of course it's consensual, because here's a guy in a position of power, and this is what women do, right? Women will sleep with whoever they need to sleep with in order to have the opportunities that they need. That's it.
And we don't have to give the job to the most qualified person. We just have to give the job to the person who's willing to sleep with Harvey Weinstein. That is not a good defense. So I don't think Bob Weinstein did himself any favors with this. And if it turns out that Harvey is right, that Bob was the person who actually leaked in the first place, and we don't know if that's true, boy, he lit a match that he can't unlight, and now the whole house is on fire. Help us build independent media. Become a member of the Young Turks. TYTnetwork.com/join.